Thank you guys for the updates. Valuable information. I have Alert Sense on my phones, and I get all the texts and really, truly appreciate the quick response that we get. So thank you again for that. All right, now we're going to move on to item number 5. This is an open forum for citizens input. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes per person. We have a 15-minute total on this. When you want to address the commission, I ask that you raise your hand. I'll recognize you, come to the podium, state your name and address. Also, this is the time we set aside for comments that are items not on the agenda. So you'll notice on item 8, those are items on the action agenda. So if you keep your remarks for that until then, that would be appreciated. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open this up for comment, for public comment. Do we have anybody? Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you for allowing us to speak today, and thanks for your hard work. I'm a Valley resident, been there for about 30 years. Also worked with the agencies for another 30 years. Been working in Skokomish Valley longer than that, and have seen literally $30 million spent in the valley, lower valley, and we still don't have any access there. We are really concerned about our public health and safety there. We have several Valley residents that are fighting cancer right now and need to get out for their treatment. We can't get out, and it's kind of a scary situation. And part of our question's already been answered about what's going to be done, what's in your long-term plan to get us out of there. We're concerned that we can use that 800 road to get in and out when it's really bad. But an example would be if you have a stroke, you have 20 minutes to get medicine before the stroke will kill you. So as it is right now, 20 minutes won't even get them to the gate. So we're really concerned, and I guess I was a bit saddened to see that it's going to be 2022 or 2002 before anything's done down there. It's a pretty simple fix. If the road was just elevated, it doesn't need to be paved. The water's going through there right now the way it is. If there were culverts in place there for the water to get in and out, the road would work and people could get in and out and fish could go back and forth. I appreciate Mason County's hazardous information, but people that live in the valley, we know, okay, it snowed in the mountains and we got a rain on snow event coming. We know when it's going to flood. People in the valley are really aware, and through the years, you know, we've spent millions of dollars putting a siren and different things in the valley to notify people. Well, people are smart enough to figure it out. What we need is somebody to come, particularly Mason County, and help us with our public health and safety to get us in and out of there.
Okay. Can I ask you to state your name?
Yeah, your name.
My name is Charles Toll.
Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Patricia Bailey, and I live at 4880 West Skokomish Valley Road. Thank you, Mr. Toll, for talking about our egress down the dips. But right now, we can't even get out of the valley up through the 800 road. I lost 3 days of work because I couldn't leave my property, or I couldn't get more than, you know, a few feet down the road to visit neighbors. We have children that have to go to school. I've been there for 25 years. I used the 800 road to take my child to school. He was a very, very serious student. He's a very productive member of society. Most of our folks can't get their kids to school, or they're having to go somewhere else to stay and disrupt their livelihood. I appreciate the work that Mason County does and your emergency system. I'm one of the cell phone numbers on that system. I am not getting alerts. I went into the system to reboot it. I checked all my information. It was there. I still am not getting alerts. So you have a bug.
I'll get that from you, and we'll get
Okay.
that taken care of.
So I would appreciate it if we could get some action on some egress for us in the Upper Valley. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name's Ron Gold. I've been a Valley member for now for about 43 years.
I used to be an excavating contractor. I'm retired. I pointed out numerous times at the dips, part of the problem that the way the water has been coming across the road. During the years when people have worked on the river, they've taken part of the berm down or bank and have placed rock or other woody debris, have not replaced the bank. And I pointed this out to numerous people, and I've been explained before that they couldn't touch it because of the Corps of Engineers didn't want to bring in fill into the valley. Well, first of all we're asking is to replace what was taken out in the first place. If there's about 6 or 7 spots, so if you go there, you can watch the water just running down the road. If we would replace the material there that was taken out before, it would probably alleviate a lot of the water coming down. That's not going to stop at all, but would help. And I can understand, and we used to have the ability to go out to 800 line until they had a slide. And I can understand the liability there, you know, nobody wants to, it's kind of a spooky road. If anyone's ever driven it at nighttime when it's pouring rain, it's no fun. And we appreciate all the efforts by everybody, but in the meantime, we can't get in and out. So we need your help. And again, yeah, I could have that thing fixed in 2 days so you can drive through the dips. And I was a contractor for many, many years for Forest Service and Green Diamond and the county and the Conservation District. And so I have a little bit of experience when it comes to that. But again, thank you for all your efforts and thank you for your time for listening to us.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Bass, a member of the Valley, and I'd like to thank the emergency system and stuff like that and all the great work that you're doing, but on your notifications, it's short-sighted. It's only one-sided. This last weekend, I met a young man who was actually, his vehicle was facing into the dips coming off of the Swift Creek Bridge there. And I asked him, what road did you get there from? He pointed across the dips, and he goes, I came from that direction. I go, you went through the dips? He goes, no, I floated through the dips. There's no sign on the other side. You close the road, that's great, the signage is great, but it has to be on both sides. This young man was up at the campgrounds. He doesn't get alerts or anything like that. How are they supposed to know? If there's only signage on one side, no one knows that the road is closed on the other side. And here he is, he floated through the most dangerous part. He could have been upside down or dead. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jerry Sager. I provide in the I live in the valley on the other side of the dips, and it floods and everything else. And for the last 40 years that I know of, that 800 road's been open. And the new management at Green Diamond and stuff is trying to shut it down. And I understand that because they want you guys to fix our road. It's not fair to us. We've been, like everybody has said, they've had to stay somewhere else. It's cost us money. I got stuck there for 3 days. I couldn't even leave the valley because they had the 800 shut down. And they've been locking that gate more and more and more because they say people are trashing coming in from the other side. They have a security guard, Green Diamond does, and he can be posted there at night and watch people go in and out that gate. They pay him. He's there to watch their equipment and stuff. Why can't he watch their road? Why do we have to suffer going over back and forth for what, a month out of the year that we use that road? I mean, why are we suffering? The log trucks get to come down the valley. The valley road moves all the time because we are in a valley and they're destroying our road. But they get to come down onto the county road and go out that way. They're 196,000 pounds coming off of that hill with logs, and they're destroying our road. We got big holes in there now. The county's having problems keeping up with it. Why aren't they going out the 800 road? I don't understand. I don't know what's going on, but I thought we had a verbal agreement that they get to go out the county road and we get to use the 800 line. The fix, I was told by one of the workers, the berm where all the water's coming over was supposed to be another rock high, and it didn't get done because the Corps of Engineers stopped them. Why they did, I don't know. But yeah, the water wouldn't come on the road if it was done. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
So we'll take one more comment, but we would like to open our offices, so if you do want to talk to us further, we encourage you to come and speak to us in our offices. So go ahead.
morning. My name is Maura Shriver. I live on the Bambi Farms Road in the Upper Valley. Thank you for taking public comment this morning. Many of my concerns have been answered by previous speakers, but I just wanted to point out that we are used to nuisance floods in the valley, okay? We're used to them. Well, I've lived there for 30 years. Most people have lived there for 40 years or whatever. But it's at a critical point where it is impacting multiple things. People's businesses, especially. They can't get deliveries in, they can't get deliveries out, they lose money. Emergency services are taking longer. Our kids are impacted by not being able to go to school. There's medically fragile people in the valley. I mean, if somebody has to go for dialysis or chemotherapy and there's no way out, I totally respect the fact the 800 road scares the crap out of me. I did it multiple times because I worked at the Capitol in Olympia. And I respect the fact that it is a liability. And what I'm asking is, with respect to Green Diamond closing that road, something needs to be done. It's at a point of where it's an emergency. It's not nuisance floods. When you're stuck in your house for 4 or 5 days and you can't get out, and the lack of communication is what really, I called emergency services. I heard through the grapevine that the 800 road was closed. You went up there, the gate was open, drove all the way to the end of it, and it was closed. Liability coming all the way back, or vice versa. So if it's closed, it's closed. There's nothing we can do about it, but you guys can by providing us alternative options. I think it's at a point now where you could declare an emergency. It is an emergency. Multiple people are impacted. Hundreds and thousands of dollars are being lost from people's businesses. Kids can't go to school. People can't go to medical appointments that they've waited 2 months to see a specialist. So thank you. Please take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if there's no objection, if we could extend public comment by 5 minutes.
No objection.
All right, so we're going to extend the comment period for 5 minutes. Do we have?
My name is Carl Black. I own Olympic Mountain Ice Cream with my kids and my wife. And 47 years we've lived there and nothing's been done to the road. So, you know, I don't have a lot of hope for 2022. We've been told everything forever and nothing's been done to the road. We have the road, like the fellow said, there's part of the, before you get to the depths, the water, there's a hole this wide where the water just runs right. You can't even go out and sandbag it. As Ron said, there's no bank at all. Why can't we do something? I mean, nobody has done anything, you know, so I would like to have hope. I mean, it is at a point right now. We have trucks that go in every single day, in and out. We go to Everett, Woodinville, Issaquah. We go everywhere in the Northwest to deliver ice cream. And we can't get out. We're now having to pay drivers to get motels. So, you know, this is past a point. Somebody needs to do something, whether you just put some sandbags, anything, just do something. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to comment?
I'm not good at public speaking. So
You and me both.
I want to address the road closed signs.
Okay.
You're inconsistent.
Can we
You're
get your
up
name
when
first?
I'm sorry, my
That's
name's
okay.
Cindy Hacker, and I work for Olympic Mountain Ice Cream. I've been driving that road for 20 years. When it's, I watch the USGA graph because not everybody gets alerts, which is inconsistent also because when it's raining, the road is intravelable. When it is, the levels are, you can have a 17.33 and get through the dips if it's not raining. If it's raining, that is flood level. The last time my son and I left the valley, we did not have a flood warning yet. My car almost didn't make it through the dips. So when the valley is doable, the signs are still up. sometimes they're not up, when it's not doable. So there's an inconsistency with the closing of the road. That needs to be more consistent. And again, when we're leaving my job, there's no road to close when we're going through the dips, because the first part of that area, it is doable. And then you get to where they have the level sign, which is also incorrect because it says a foot and it's definitely over a foot when I've gone through it. So that is also, deceiving. It's very deceiving. So you think you have a pass, and the day that I did go through, it had not been closed yet. Almost didn't make it. So there is an inconsistency with the roads being closed, reopened, and the fact that coming to the dips, we cannot see until we're on it. And there's a point where you can't get out once you're in. So, thank you.
Thank you. You did great.
Could we hear from the commissioners or Patty Case on the state of the 800 road and what's happening there?
We can't require a citizen to speak if she wants to. She's welcome to.
Commissioner Netherland, you know me better than that. Chair Trask, Commissioners, for the record, my name is Patty Case. I work for Green Diamond Resource Company. We did have a problem with the 800-808 road. We have not yet been able to fix it, and it may be some time before we can fix it. Our trucks know where to travel on that road so that they don't take a deep dive into the valley. We're not confident that the average driver, particularly at night, as several people have mentioned, we're not confident that folks would be able to navigate that. And so we're quite worried about their safety. We had made an arrangement with the county that we would provide egress for a period of 12 hours once flood stage had been reached, and then we would close the gate. The idea there being egress as opposed to an alternate route. And you all know that, but just for the folks in the room. We'll certainly come back to you and come back to emergency services once we are able to open that road to public traffic for flood relief. Really want to thank the commissioners and county staff, particularly emergency services and public works, for a job well done in a really difficult circumstance. And I like everybody else, we're looking forward to the fix at the dips. We've been participants in that process, and it has been a long process. If there's anything we can do to help with the federal delegation trying to speed that up, that would be the preferred alternative to trying to depend on a private road. Thank you.
Do we have other comment? Any other comments? No? Oh, yes.
Yeah, if afterwards, if anybody is not signed up with Alert Sense, I'll be here. Please, all I need is your name, your address, and your cell phone number, and I can get you signed in. I can get you signed up.
Okay. Thank you, Russ.
So I just, I'll just make a couple of brief comments. First off, I appreciate everybody taking the time to come in today. I know that it's not always convenient to get down here to make comment, which is, we can say from our perspective, which is why we don't regularly see this many people in attendance. And so your presence here today and your willingness to share the situation as you see it in the Valley is really helpful for us as we talk with staff, as we talk with our private partners on how to come up with solutions that keep people safe and keep people being able to move in and out of the Valley. I know I've heard from a number of you already, and I've responded. I've talked to Carl and Bev, Justin in the back, Ron I've had a number of conversations with. And so I'm always open and interested in your ideas as we go back and forth on trying to find solutions. It was mentioned earlier that you know, over the decades, millions of dollars have been spent in the Valley. I can tell you that on the docket, we have more millions of dollars coming into the valley to try to solve this issue that seems to have plagued the area for a long, long time. Your thoughtfulness and help on that is appreciated as well. So you've given us, I think, a lot to think about today, and certainly our staff is here and listening to ways that we can improve access and improve response to it. Look forward to sitting back down with staff and figuring out what alternatives exist, if there are some quick fixes or patches that we can make in the interim as we figure out all these other things, as Ron mentioned. And then also be interested in hearing more from Chief Welander on what their impacts are to getting the people in and out of the valley as well. So with that, I thank you for coming down here today, and your presence here is meaningful and you are being heard. So I appreciate that very much.
Again, same. Thank you for coming in here today. I want you to know that we do hear you. Ron, for example, and Carl, I want you to know that I wish it was as simple as just saying, throw some bags down there, but we are subject to the same laws, rules, and regulations as anybody else. So when the Army Corps says no, there's not much, hold on a second, please. There's not much that we can do about that. We can't violate the law. I just want you to know that. But I also want you to know that there are some things that we can do right now. We heard you about the signs. We'll talk with our staff, try to make sure that that doesn't happen again. If those are the issues that happen, we'll try to address that. But I want to share with you something that you maybe don't know. You've all been a part of that history. I remember when I first got elected, I went in there, I was told we had a solution to it, but then when we went to go find out about how to go for that money, how to spend that money, turned out the people in the valley weren't, we were told they were included, but when we had a meeting out there, they were not included in the solution, and there was quite a few of them that were very upset, and they did not want this to happen or that to happen. So that changed things. Now we finally got to a situation where we have agreement of the people that are involved down there, and we're starting to move through a process where more money is going to come through there now than it's ever done in its history. Everything takes time, and I'm sorry it does, but it does. When it starts to happen, it does take time, one piece on top of another piece. I also want to comment about your commissioner, Commissioner Schutte. You wouldn't know this, but as somebody that's a part of this, I can assure you this guy's on it on a constant basis. Those emails are coming through in the middle of the night and the evening. He's involved in it. He's making it happen. I'm guaranteeing he's also contacting the state delegations or the U.S. delegations to try and get that money flowing and keep things moving. He's on constant contact with our public works. I just want you to know that it's not being dropped. And I haven't served with a commissioner that has paid that much attention to that area since I've been elected. I'm just telling you, I'm in my 8th year. So please understand that there is a lot going on that you may not know about. I wish we could just do the I Dream of Genie things and make it happen, but it is a lot harder by law. And we will get there, though. It's already happening. But I'm going to take the time to thank the commissioner for his work, because I know you don't see it, but I do, because I'm in the loop for all those things. So
Under emergency management, you can put rock in the river and do all those things that you do to protect your structure. So why can't you do that under the emergency management?
well, and we will look into more of that. I'm just telling you that we're subject to laws just like everybody else.
I understand
We can't go around that.
How
But
the emergency management
yeah,
thing works.
but we will be having those conversations. I guarantee you. We already have, but we'll have some more. See if there's a trick that we can pull.
It's been surveyed 8 times down there now.
Yeah.
What happens? The money comes into agencies to do the work, but then the agencies use the money to hire their staff to yet do another study. If somebody just picked up a rock every time they did a study in the Manhattan Valley, there would be no river. There would be a river there again. And what I'm saying is, instead of just spending the money, and sure be nice, I know you guys are working hard, and I know the constraints of being a regulator. I was one for 30 years. But we need to take care of the people there, because now it's at a crisis, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, just so you know, please come and talk to us afterwards. Come to our offices. We'll be glad to sit with you and talk to you. See if we can. If we all work together as a team, I'm sure that we can come up with some good solutions. So we truly
We'll all stick
appreciate
around.
it.
I've heard emergency and access and egress and whatever a couple of times. I just want to, Matthew Welander, most of your fire chief. We can get there. the 800 line and the 808 coming up the hill, it is still moving. I drive it at least once a week to make sure that I can get fire engines, water tenders, ambulance, and everything through. When I went up there this morning, because I figured I'd be asked about it, it's moved again. More of the sandwich board warnings are down the hill in the mud, so at some point those got to be fished out. But it is still moving. It is unsafe to travel that. One of the things I want to remind you of is just because the gates are open, the road is still closed. The signs are up at both ends, so it is closed. One of the big problems that we've had with the road closed in the valley itself is citizens come through and remove the signs. And so we've had a couple of people that didn't know it was closed because a sign had been put over to the side and they've driven through. Saturday or Sunday, and I don't remember which because my weekend all went together, we rescued 5 people out of the water because they drove into areas that they weren't supposed to be. If water's moving over the roadway, especially with as many times as it's happened this year and the number of layers of asphalt that are there, it's entirely possible the road isn't there, even though it looks passable. So from my standpoint, please stay out of the water. We can get there through the 800. The citizens bought us a brand new 4-wheel drive ambulance, got a winch and everything. Huh?
Half an hour.
So with that, on a stroke, we do have 3 hours to get you to a stroke center. We have helicopters. We have access to more helicopters than we've ever had. They're 10 minutes from Olympia, 15 to 20 coming out of Bremerton. We have access to the military that we didn't used to have ever since 2001. So we're going to get there. We're going to get you treated. We'll do everything we can to put a fire out. We do have a flood rescue vehicle that we can get through about 4 feet of water, and we're working on even improving that capability. But from the in and out and the business side of it, I'm sorry, I can't even speak to it. But as far as making sure that you guys are all taken care of, we do make sure that's done. The county roads did put in road delineators for us. Thank you, so we can actually see where the road is. That's kind of nice. And the sheriff's office has allowed the deputy that lives in the end of the valley to work from there a few times. So you have law enforcement, you have emergency response, you got people coming. It's not optimal, and I wish it was. It's better than when I was a kid. When I was a very young firefighter, I remember having to sit on the hood of the flood truck to figure out where we were going. That doesn't happen anymore. I haven't had a wet seat in one of those things in a while. So it's getting better. I know it's not fun. And I know Mr. Gold has done a ton of work in the area. And yes, everything seems like an easy answer. We are the government. So that's really all I have. Just try to relax. We're coming for you. But
people that have dialysis and
yes.
people that have chemo, okay, that's a very serious issue. So, I mean, I'm sure that they could maybe miss a day or so,
mm-hmm.
but what's going to happen? Is there any way that they can get help?
We can get you out. We'll come in and get you. That's what the ambulance is for. We do have permission to use that in an emergency.
And then once you get us,
can't get you home.
okay.
So that's where the hotel, the respite care, those are the arrangements that you need to make ahead of time. I know it's not fun to put the burden back on you at this point. But as far as dialysis, cancer care, whatever, I will drive out there personally and pick you up and take you, but I can't bring you back.
You'll take them where?
Where they need to go.
Okay, because my question would be that, they could contact somebody on the outside to, depending on where you would have to take them.
Sure.
Okay, I just wanted to know you would take them.
Yeah, the liability involved with taking somebody back into a flood area is something we can't incur. I mean, that would be foolish on our part.
But if they got to their
We'll
treatment.
get you to the appointment.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. No, that's helpful.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's do it.
All right, thank you guys for your comments and for your patience, and we truly appreciate that. And just know that our doors are open. If you'd like to speak further, let us know.
We'll stick around.
Yes.